program. This is What's Your Story here in Jakarta, Indonesia. I am Catherine Mwangi today. We're here at the Ministry of Trade for the Republic of Indonesia, and we want to have a conversation with the man who runs the ministry, Honorable Zulkifi Hasan. So let's take a walk. Let's go see what his story is all about. Thank you for making the time.
Welcome, Kitty. Welcome to Indonesia.
Thank you. I love the food already. It's a beautiful country.
Yes,
so, yes. So
Indonesia many food from the other province.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you were recently appointed a few weeks ago into this position as Minister of Trade.
Yeah.
But I want us to track back your story to your beginnings.
Yeah.
So what was your childhood like?
Okay, I speak with bahasa ya.
Oh yes.
Saya lahir dari keluarga petani, berasal dari Lampung. Kemudian lanjut sekolah dari dusun ke ibu kota provinsi. Dari ibu kota provinsi baru merantau ke Jakarta.
Okay. And so now that you brought up the study, what was your education like? What are those years like?
Kitty, saya pendidikannya background saya guru. Sekolah saya itu pendidikan guru agama gitu. Cuma saya juga tidak tahu kok bisa saya bisa jadi pengusaha. Alhamdulillah sukses. Kemudian terjun di dunia politik, bisa jadi ketua partai, bisa jadi anggota DPR gitu, bisa jadi menteri, bisa jadi ketua MPR. Padahal saya sekolahnya guru, ya mungkin garis tangan.
Okay, so before your life in politics though, you are a renowned businessman, an entrepreneur, and you started off selling eggs. What inspired that drive?
Ayah saya bilang, kalau jadi petani itu mulai kerja, mulai awal, masih gelap, matahari belum nampak. Gitu. Pulang juga sudah sore gelap, matahari sudah tenggelam, badannya hitam karena kena matahari, tapi rezekinya juga susah, gelap, suram. Jadi guru, kata ayah saya juga, jadi guru, waktu jadi guru itu, setiap akhir bulan, pendapatannya itu tidak cukup untuk 1 bulan, 15 hari sudah habis. Jadi 15 hari habis, gajinya 15 hari lagi cari objek yang susah didapat. Jadi pada waktu itu, pada masa saya masih kecil, jadi petani itu sulit hidupnya, jadi guru juga sulit hidupnya. Oleh karena itu pilihannya itu niaga, berusaha, berbisnis. Jadi saya mulai terjun bisnis waktu usia saya 21 tahun, saya sudah punya jaringan hampir 200 lebih jaringan distribusi. Alhamdulillah termasuk yang sukses lah.
Wow, what a rich history you have. So at 20 years old, you established a retail business that grew into 200 retail business.
Yeah.
What was the business line? What were you selling?
Household.
Household items.
Yeah, household, yes.
I see.
Yes.
So 98, you wanted to do the shift to politics. In the year 1998.
Iya, 1998. Waktu itu Indonesia pergantian kekuasaan, perubahan reformasi. Saya selama ini bisnis itu untuk keluarga saya, untuk diri. Nah, kami sepakat dengan keluarga dan istri, saatnya kita mengabdi yang lebih luas, yaitu kepada bangsa dan negara. Maka waktu itu saya masuk ke partai politik.
See.
Yeah.
So, what was your desire back then? In which areas did you want to serve the country?
Politik itu dua perjuangannya. Satu, seperti sekarang saya jadi menteri itu eksekutif, itu bisa langsung direct memberikan kebijakan-kebijakan. Satu lagi pilihannya parlemen. Anggota parlemen itu perjuangannya melalui peranata hukum, undang-undang, melahirkan sistem yang baik gitu. Nah, saya sudah melewati dua-duanya. Pertama jadi anggota DPR sudah, oleh karena itu meletakkan hukum-hukum, undang-undang yang berpihak kepada kepentingan masyarakat luas dan melahirkan sistem yang baik. Nah, sekarang saya sebagai eksekutif, sebagai menteri itu membantu presiden melaksanakan tugas-tugas yang dipercayakan kepada saya. Karena yang diberi mandat oleh rakyat itu presiden perlu pembantu, salah satu pembantunya menterinya saya. Nah, oleh karena itu salah satu kebijakan saya agar nanti perkuat hubungan antara Indonesia dan Afrika, khususnya Kenya.
Ya, that's wonderful.
Ya, saya ingin sekali hubungan antara Indonesia dan Afrika, khususnya Kenya, itu di zaman saya jadi Menteri Perdagangan meningkat besar, meningkat drastis. Dan itu bisa. Dan itu bisa kita lakukan bareng-bareng bersama-sama. Nah, pertama kita akan selesaikan dengan Pak Dubes nanti perjanjian dagang, FTA itu akan kita selesaikan. Dan kita juga akan mengirim delegasi dagang, pengusaha-pengusaha kita ke sana, kemudian Kenya juga nanti datang ke sini, agar ada pembicaraan, agar ada saling tukar informasi, kemudian kerjasama perdagangan yang lebih luas. Banyak produk-produk Indonesia yang dibutuhkan Kenya dan sebaliknya. Apalagi kami punya duta besar sekarang, duta besar Indonesia di Kenya yang sangat aktif. Ya, sangat aktif untuk menjembatani, membangun hubungan agar lebih besar lagi manfaatnya untuk kedua negara. Saya kira itu, Katie.
Okay. Before you go, before we wind up, the lessons, the life values and lessons that you live by, what would those be?
Dalam agama saya diajarkan, gitu ya. Hidup itu berlomba-lomba untuk berbuat baik. Kita ada, menurut saya, agama saya, kita itu ada di 3 alam. Waktu kita mau lahir, kita di alam rahim. Sekarang namanya alam dunia, gitu. Dan pada saatnya kamu percaya atau tidak percaya, kamu yakin atau tidak yakin, suka tidak suka, pada saatnya nanti yang ketiga itu kita akan ada di alam kubur, mati. Nah, mati. Nah, buat kami, saya sebagai pemeluk agama Islam, meyakini kematian itu adalah kehidupan yang abadi. Nah, oleh karena itu, di dunia ini kita harus berlomba-lomba berbuat baik untuk sebanyak mungkin manusia, tanpa batas negara. Kamu dari Kenya, saya dari sini, sama. Kita adalah manusia, tidak ada beda di mata Tuhan. Kita sama, ciptaan manusia, ciptaan Tuhan yang paling sempurna. Semakin banyak berbuat baik, semakin tinggi nilai kita di hadapan Tuhan. Itulah filosofi saya.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Hasan. Thank you for making the time to be on this program. Any word of advice to young people?
Untuk anak muda, tidak ada kesuksesan tanpa kerja keras. Maka bekerja keras, modal kita sama, 24 jam. Semua modalnya sama. Siapapun sama, modalnya 24 jam, tidak ada yang lebih. Gitu. Oleh karena itu harus produktif, bekerja keras, tentu berdoa. Baru dengan begitu mudah-mudahan Anda sukses. Dan doa saya semoga kalian sukses.
Those are sound words of wisdom, and I think we shall stop at that note. I know you have many other things you want to go and take care of, but thank you so much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you, Kitty. I hope you will enjoy here.
Yes.
And see you in Kenya. Maybe next year. Yeah.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to you coming to Kenya.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We take a short commercial break. Do not go too far. What's Your Story comes back to you right here from Indonesia. I hope you enjoyed Honorable Hasan's conversation. He's very passionate. He seems very passionate about wanting to increase the relationships, the trade relationships between Indonesia and African countries, specifically Kenya. You heard him say that. Now we've come for lunch, so I want to see what the treat is today. I mean, it feels like we've just been eating the whole time. But the best thing for me, I was telling Charity just now, I had to come all the way to Indonesia to get into a V8. I know, it's a vulnerable moment, so I had to come all the way to Indonesia to get into this Dawn's V8. Yo, the feeling is different. It slaps differently. Charity's generation would say it slaps differently. So it's a great day. I mean, I love the weather, like I said to you last week. So I'm just gonna put on my sandals, go have some food, and we have an incredible guest also coming up after lunch. You don't wanna go too far, but let me show you what we'll eat. You have to see what we'll eat. Come on, let's do this. Makasih, Papa. Remember last week I gave you a tour of the city's monument, my first time experience trying out street food. So today, no street food for me. I'm having lunch with the ambassador and the Unirama team at one of the restaurants here in the heart of Jakarta. Something tells me to start getting used to seafood. We'll see. His Excellency is still here, our host and patron on this trip. So, first, thank you very much for the lunch.
Most welcome.
Everything is so delectable and sumptuous, and
Do you enjoy the
completely.
food?
You are telling me we ate from Sumatra.
Yes. It
Okay.
comes from Sumatra Island.
What's the specialty in Sumatra?
The specialty from Sumatra, first, of course, spices.
Okay.
Spices. And when I said spices, it's mean it. There are so many kind of, we call it sambal in Indonesia. It's a spice. There is a green sambal, red sambal, many kind of.
Okay, like this is chili,
And
right?
this chopped chili and this is sambal already.
We've eaten it.
Yeah, we eat it up.
Yeah.
And the spices. And then the second, the difference between Sumatra and Java. Sumatra much more on the meat.
Oh,
There are so many meats.
we have
And
by
I like
the way,
this
all
one.
these types of meat. Like what is that?
This one we call it rendang. And you know the process to make it rendang, it takes time. And very laborious, very hard
So
work.
it's beef?
That's a beef. That's a beef.
It looks
But
like what Sabrina had yesterday. Is it the same?
You ate yesterday actually.
It's the same.
Ah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I've eaten Sumatra food.
Coconut milk.
And today, the young generation chef actually make a innovation, not only from beef. When I was in Saudi, they make it from the camel meat.
Oh.
Yeah, that's by the very famous Indonesian chef.
So
Yes.
an Indonesian chef in Saudi Arabia made from camel meat.
From camel meat, and I think northern Kenya also got so many camels, maybe mutton. It can be made of rendang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course kuku.
Chicken.
There's chicken. And
And the whole fish.
the whole fish, and then the steamed fish, and the fried fish.
I noticed fish is a major staple food here.
Oh yeah, because Indonesia is an archipelagic country,
Yes.
and for let's say like me, my childhood, I'm come from coastal area.
Okay.
It's called Indramayu,
Okay.
and I eat more fish than meat.
Ah.
For the coastal area people,
Yes.
meat is luxurious.
Oh.
But for fish, we can easily catch it. You know, either for fish
Catch and
or
cook.
yeah, and we me myself is very familiar with
Yeah. Yeah.
fish. And one thing from the Sumatran, between Sumatran and Java, Sumatran is very quote unquote poor
Oh,
on vegetable.
they don't like veggies.
They don't like veggie so
Yeah.
much like let's say from West Java or Java Island.
I see.
West Java, where
Yes.
I come from, is really like it, you know, like veggie.
Yeah.
Either
Ah.
raw,
Uh-huh.
either raw veggie or steamed veggie.
I see.
Raw veggie, like you know, like
Yeah. Uncooked.
salad,
Yes.
cooked.
Yes. Steamed or raw.
Yeah, steamed or raw.
It's amazing. I
Steamed
mean,
or
all
raw.
the food here is just, it's like a food paradise, to be honest. It's like 10 ways to make chicken. So I'm eating chicken, but it's been made differently.
You
That's
know,
what I'm seeing.
One of the Time magazine
Yeah.
once award rendang as the best food in the world. The
No.
number one. Yeah, Time magazine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because the food here has totally shocked me. I mean, first it's a lot.
And also, it can be adjust with the taste of people from overseas.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and this is not so what that spicy.
Yeah.
But maybe if it's too creamy, too
Yeah,
greasy,
yeah.
we can make it like dry, not too greasy.
So different ways to
Yeah.
make it. No, let me tell you, the food here has just been out of this world. I had said to Mr. Stanley here, I need to add 2 kgs before I leave. I leave to. It's gonna happen. He's optimistic it will happen. I was saying it as a joke. I do not want to add weight, but I will eat this food. So, Your Excellency, yes. So we have seen the Minister of Trade today. Really nice gentleman. I love how he spoke
Yeah,
also about his plans to enhance and grow trade between our 2 countries,
Right.
Kenya and Indonesia. But we've also done a lot of work in that area as well.
Right.
Could you speak to it?
Yeah. Well, the best is not yet come. Of course, first of all, I know personally Minister Zulkifi Hasan. For me, he is the man of action, and also, of course, he is hard workers. I know since he is as the chairman of people People Representative Assembly, and then he's also once as a member of Parliament, and he fully committed in advancing bilateral trade cooperation between Indonesia and Kenya.
Yeah.
Even he mentioned by himself in front of you that he promised he will visit Kenya.
Yes.
And he is very eager to have FTA, free trade arrangement documents be signed next year by him. Of course, it's my big assignment, and I also already discussed with the Kenyan parties, with the MOFA and also the Minister of Trade
Yes.
in Nairobi. And once the FTA
Yeah.
document signed,
Yeah.
it's kind of that's the government provide the red carpet for the business peoples
Yeah.
from both sides
Yes.
to promote their own transaction.
Yes.
And then he also mentioned that during his visit, he will bring along with business peoples.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah, so that's one of the results your visit to Jakarta, and also of course I will follow it up once
Yes.
I come back in Nairobi
Yes.
with parties concerned.
Yes, nice.
And,
you also recently hosted businessmen from Indonesia, just again a few months ago.
Right.
What was that about?
Yeah, we since last March, this the one of the cornerstone in our diplomatic relationship.
Okay.
17 March, Kenyan government officially inaugurate their embassy office in Jakarta.
Yes.
Madam Rachel Omamo herself opened up the embassy.
Yeah.
And then starting from that, there are two delegates from Indonesia. One is business delegates, Unirama, come to Kenya. And then last month, I received the chairman of Food and Drug Authority from Indonesia,
Okay.
with 7 representative of business business companies, businesses on pharmaceuticals and food products. And they also sign, both of sign an MOUs between companies. And in fact, Unirama themselves is going to launch first, export
Yes.
to Kenya. And the minister committed
Yes.
to officially launch
Oh wow.
the shipment,
Yes.
and then I will be receiving in Nairobi, and then that's the project. And of course, yesterday when I talked to the Charge d'Affaires CDA of Kenya, we discussed a lot of things, big projects to come.
Yeah.
And of course, in a nutshell, those series of the activities is in a view to promoting bilateral diplomatic cooperations.
Yes. I mean, it's a huge milestone, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's a very huge milestone. Even just walking to the embassy, our embassy here.
Yeah.
That's a huge.
Yeah.
That's 40 years. Sabrina was telling me it's 40 years
Yeah,
of work culminating into that one occasion. And it's a beautiful place. Huh?
And the important thing, maybe I'm blessed. I'm the one who blessed because under my tenors, that the embassy's office has officially opened.
Yeah, but you worked hard for it. I mean, you worked hard for it. It's a
Well,
huge milestone.
Not only me, because I always have in my mind, this the teamwork. Because I'm nothing if there is no other parties who supporting. Let's say I also thanks to President of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. He was so serious when I met him. I kindly request him to please, the president, open up the embassy. And then right after that, he promised that should be fulfilled the following years.
Wow.
And then it's happened.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
happened.
And now the trade is happening as well.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Although we are in the peak of COVID pandemic, while the world economy experienced a sluggish tendency, but the bilateral trade between Indonesia and Kenya is significantly increased. My first year in Kenya, the trade increased 40%. 40%. My second year, 35%.
Wow.
So I'm so optimistic.
Yes.
After COVID,
Yes.
it's supposed to be much higher.
Yes.
The increase.
Yes.
Much higher.
Well done to you. Well done to you, and also for bringing us here to see with our eyes the businesses that are here, and to actually verify that the things that you're doing are real. They're tangible. There is the cathedral. There is the cathedral, people. And there is the mosque. See? Neighbors indeed. Woo! Happy conversations, great company, and of course great culinary delights. Now I'm ready for more sightseeing. Our next stop, the renowned Gereja Cathedral, Jakarta, a Roman cathedral located in central Jakarta near Merdeka Square and Merdeka Palace. Let me give you a little history. The story of Jakarta Cathedral begins unexpectedly in Europe, after Napoleon installed his brother Louis as the King of Holland in 1806. Holland, then a Protestant kingdom, suddenly found itself with a Roman Catholic ruler who convinced the Vatican to appoint an apostolic prefect for its Dutch East Indies colony, now Indonesia, in 1807. Less than a year later, the envoys, Reverend Jacobus Nelson and Lambertus Prinsen, arrived in Batavia, the now Jakarta. They held a mass at the home of a Dr. Asmas in Senen, as well as in a hut in a nearby military barrack before the colonial government gave them a chapel in Kuitang. This chapel, known as the Church of Saint Ludovicus, was effectively the first Catholic church in the Dutch East Indies. However, the congregation had to find a new home after a fire razed the church in 1828. The second church after that featured the neoclassic architecture typical of other period buildings. It was inaugurated in 1829 and collapsed 3 days after Easter in 1890. Then the prefecture decided to rebuild the same site, appointing a Jesuit priest named Antonius Jickman to design a new church, and he designed the new church along neo-Gothic lines, popular style for church designs in Europe. Similar to other cathedrals in Europe, Jakarta Cathedral now has 3 towers, each with a different design. 2 60-meter towers are located in the front. The left is called the Fort of David, representing strength of the king in protecting his people, while the right is called Ivory Tower to symbolize the purity of the Virgin Mary. Standing only 45 meters tall, the third tower, the Angelus Dei, or God's Angel, is located above the church's main altar. There is so much more to the history and architectural design, so you have to visit Indonesia yourself, get the full history, and enjoy the live views. There is the cathedral. There is the cathedral, people. And there is the mosque. See? Neighbors indeed. Woo! Interestingly, the cathedral sits right next to the largest mosque in Southeast Asia and the 6th largest mosque in the world in terms of worshipper capacity, as it can accommodate congregations of up to 120,000 people. So let's head there. So I love that sort of unity, because at the end of the day, we are one. You know, we are one people. We are one. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It's important, yes, but we are one people. So the fact that in Jakarta you find the mosque neighboring the cathedral, it's phenomenal to me. That's what life is about. The Istiklal Mosque in Jakarta. It was first opened to the public by Indonesia's first president, Sukarno, on 22nd February 1978 and was built to commemorate Indonesian independence. This national mosque of Indonesia was named Istiklal, an Arabic word for independence. Most of the Islamic celebration in Indonesia, such as Let Prayer, are also broadcast from this mosque. Frederick Silaban, a Christian architect from North Sumatra, designed the Istiklal Mosque in 1954. It took 17 years to build the mosque. Built under Sukarno's administration, the construction was personally supervised by the president himself. How interesting is that? As one of the remarkable buildings that beautify central Jakarta cityscape, the Istiklal Mosque inspires with its enormity and contemporary design. The building of the mosque covers approximately 9 hectares, that's 22 acres, and has 5 levels in total. Much of the structure is clad in marble from East Java. The mosque's main prayer hall will also make you gaze in awe at just the whole beauty of it. Oh, by the way, put this in your next bucket list, monuments to visit during your vacation here, because it's super easy to get there since it's near the Gambir train station. To get here from Sukarno-Hatta International Airport, you can use public transportation or you can just walk to this mosque. The show goes right up on YouTube, and stay tuned for the next episode because we now move to our second city, Surabaya. It's the second largest city in Indonesia and promises some incredible experiences which I hope you don't miss out on. Yes, we have just landed in Surabaya and this is what Unirama Group has done for us, welcoming us to this beautiful city. Clearly we are sent from Charity.
My name is Ambassador Moile Moshira. I'm Director General in charge of bilateral and political affairs here at the Ministry headquarters. There are 3 reasons for us to have opened the embassy in Jakarta. Number 1 is to inspire our relationship with Indonesia. Since the pre-independence period, Indonesia has been a close partner of Africa. The Bandung Declaration of 1955 laid the strong foundation for the Asia-Africa partnership and also inspired the South and South-South cooperation as well as the non-aligned movement. So 1 is to recognize the significance of that history of Indonesia's contribution to the independence of many African countries. And secondly, Indonesia opened its own mission here, has been here for a couple of years. And they remain one of our closest partners in the multilateral system. We share very common positions in global issues, not the least climate change, the need for the global South to have a voice in the international system, but also to bring the factors to now is that Kenya is looking for opportunity to increase our diplomatic footprints, to enhance our trade cooperation with the rest of the countries around the world, and also to open avenues for investments here in Kenya. So we believe that Indonesia is a good partner, and we are very glad to have established our embassy in Jakarta. I'm particularly proud to look at it 20 years down the line when I was an officer, a junior officer covering Indonesia from Malaysia, and to be very glad that the embassy is in place now. The visit was very successful, that our Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Rachel Omamo, visited Indonesia in March this year. And in addition to opening the new embassy, we had an opportunity to fast track our relations cooperation with Indonesia. We signed 6 MOUs cutting across different areas. We're very proud that we have now formalized our bilateral consultations, which is a framework for the 2 ministries to meet regularly and to discuss the relations between the 2 countries. We also have a cooperation between the Chambers of Commerce and Industries. Of course, you know the private sector drive the trade and investment arm of diplomacy. We also have signed an agreement between one of our main universities, University of Nairobi, and an Indonesian university, which will give us an opportunity for exchange of training and education in high areas. And we have also, of course, got an MOU in the cooperation between the news agencies of the two countries that will help us to share the information and news so that between people relations can be enhanced. A good understanding between the people of the two countries will inspire the relationship. But one of the other critical areas why the visit was important is that it laid a foundation for a commitment to fast-track implementation of bilateral frameworks. Now, we are looking forward to having our third bilateral consultations in 2023. But ahead of that, we must implement what we have agreed on. The framework also lays a foundation for us to discuss agreement in other areas. And critical on it is, of course, trade and investment. We are looking at ways to make the cost of doing business between the two countries cheaper. So the visit by Ambassador Omamo was very, very essential. And it definitely follows from the first meeting we had in December 2019, which actually was a very, very important stage in our relationship as well. We see Indonesia as important in our foreign policy on three levels. Number one, and I've just mentioned that we have a strong bilateral framework. We need to strengthen that bilateral framework between us and Indonesia. Indonesia is also a key leader of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. We are a critical leader, a member of the East African community. We are looking at how we can pull the two regions together. They are linked by the Indian Ocean, which is what we call the theater of the global businesses. So we are saying that ASEAN and EAC should pull together. We should explore and encourage our business communities between our region and the ASEAN region to do business. So that's the second level. But my other hope for our relations with Indonesia is our strategic partnership at the multilateral system is strengthened. Indonesia strongly supported us for the UN Security Council membership. When Kenya sought the non-permanent seat of the UN Security Council, Indonesia was very strong in our support. We are looking at our cooperation with Indonesia in multilateralism, peace and security, the challenges that were brought by international terrorism, piracy, and of course the menace of global change. So we are looking at relations with Indonesia from a bilateral, inter-regional framework, but also from a global perspective to have a more stronger multilateral system. All right. It gives me great pleasure and honor on behalf of Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Rachel Omamo and Principal Secretary Ambassador Macharia Kamau to issue this congratulatory message to the Republic of Indonesia. On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kenya, we congratulate His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Henry Saripudin, the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia, and the Indonesians living in Kenya on the occasion of the 77th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Indonesia. Kenya values the strong, warm relations with Indonesia, and we look forward to continue working closely with the Ambassador and his team in Nairobi to fast-track the implementation of the agreed outcome of the second bilateral consultations held early this year. We also seize this opportunity to wish the government and the people of Indonesia a happy and joyous Independence Day.